Hey y'all, thanks for dropping by Designed by Kathy. Today I want to do a resin pour on a garage sale find. It is an old cutting board that was going to the garage sale or to the trash or to wherever. Anyway, we're going to upcycle it and spruce it up and make it look pretty gorgeous. I'm going to tint my resin with acrylic paint. I'm going to show you how easy that is and how easy it is to upcycle a piece that you have laying around the house. So let's get right to it. Okay, for this upcycled cutting board, this was probably used on a camping trip and was yet again another item that was going to go in the garage sale get rid of. But I grabbed it and I thought, let's upcycle this cutting board into something pretty. I've lightly sanded over this because it had, it had been used actually as a cutting board. On the back, I have taped off all my edges. I don't want the resin to come underneath there. Taped it off here around, and you just take your little X-Acto knife and cut around the little circle areas, and then just cut around your corners. So I've got it ready. I am going to be using the Faux Rizzle Nuevo resin, and I've already got some mixed up here, but I did want to show you how I tint my resin using acrylic paints. I do have some resin tint, not a lot of choice colors, but I do have some. But I was going to show you, this is super easy to just tint your resin. Now each resin has different instructions. They say to mix for, usually 1, 2 to 3 minutes of just stirring. And then you want to let it sit for a little bit, let all your bubbles rise to the top, and you can actually scrape those bubbles off. This particular resin says use a plastic stir stick or spoon. I do use a wooden popsicle stick. I've had people say, oh, if you use wood, it's going to create more bubbles. I can't tell the difference on that. But since the instructions of this did say to use the plastic, I did what it said. So I'm just pouring a very, very small amount into this resin. And as you can see, it mixes into a brilliant, beautiful color, just those few little drops. Because when you're working with resin, what you need to think about is you're just tinting your resin. You're not resining your paint. I also chose, that was a Metallics worn penny, which I thought was pretty. And I have this Bahama blue, which I also like. Again, just a few little droplets. Gorgeous, just those few little drops, gorgeous color. Try to let it drain off of the spoon. And then I'm going to use, this is an oyster beige. I just want a little bit of a contrasting lighter color in there. If we can get any out. Yeah, there's some in there. And that is probably all we'll need for that. Oh yeah, another pretty, pretty color. Okay, so we've got these ready, mixed. I am going to use gloves. I recommend always using gloves with resin, once your two parts are mixed together and you get it on you, there's several things. Some of you could be allergic to it. You also want to be in a well-ventilated place, even though most of the resins that I have used do not have a high smell. And this particular one doesn't. It's got a little smell, like any kind of, you know, even your acrylic paints have a little bit of a smell. But you want to be in a nice ventilated area. And just definitely want to wear gloves. Now, the other high-tech piece of equipment I'm going to be using is this little Revlon hair dryer. It came with pieces and parts to it here, you know, that you can do your hair or whatever. But this little end makes such a great size to kind of control if you're blowing or doing a Dutch pour or any other, you know, several other kind of pours that you need to use something to blow out the paint. But I'm going to use this. You've got a cool, a low, and a high. And it puts out pretty good volume. So this is my high-tech piece of equipment that I'm going to also use with this refurbished cutting board. This also, I've got a link to it down below, so y'all be sure and check that out if you might be interested in something like this. Now what I want to do is I'm just going to take and start drizzling my resin. Just spooning it all around. There's two things. When I use this heat on it, it's going to loosen it up a little bit and help spread it. I'm going to use the high setting, and I'll mute the sound so you won't have to listen to this. I'm going to use it on high because I do want it on good and warm. Okay, so we've got all of it covered. I want share a little bit more resin right there, and it should self-level itself back on down. Make sure I have the inside done here. All inside my little handle opening. Okay, that looks really pretty. We got a lot of opaqueness on it, and that you can control with a little bit more paint. If you want the, if you want the more opaque, you can definitely use less paint. Just had some little spots there that I think I blew a little more than I had intended, but again, resin is self-leveling, so I'm just gonna like kind of spread that out a little bit, and it should all level together. Now, I do see a few little bubbles here, and I'm going to show you now what I do to get rid of bubbles. The super simple way, because I know a lot of you have expressed in the past an uncomfortableness with the torch. And I don't blame you, because, you know, a lot of paints, you don't know, if you hadn't used a particular resin a whole lot, you don't know how torch friendly it's going to be. So let me grab my other little nifty tool, and we'll pop some bubbles. This is a hot air gun, and I'm not seeing on here who it's made by. I did get it on Amazon, and that link is down below as well. This puts out enough heat to pop the bubbles, not as much as like the hair dryer to move it all around, but this is what I have found is my new go-to thing rather than dealing with the butane and a torch. So okay, I'm gonna stop talking while I run this, so I'll mute out the dryer sound. Got a few that popped up there that just aren't, they're wanting to be a little stubborn, so we'll let them continue to rise for a minute, because the bubbles do rise in your resin, and then I'm going to get these right here and right here. But this is going to be a really pretty piece. Again, each resin, check the curing time. After about 8 hours, I'm going to pull this tape off because I don't want it to have to live there forever. So after about 8 hours, you can touch it gently, carefully. You don't want to get fingerprints on it, and before you use it, you want to let it fully cure. Now the thing that you can do with this is obviously you cannot cut on it. You do not want to put it in, you don't want to put it in the dishwasher. You would wash it up with just a little soap and water. You could use it to serve depending on, again, the kind of resin you get, and the Faux Rizzle is one of them that I'm 99.9% sure you can. It's food safe to the point you can use it on a tumbler. You can use it on something like this to put some fruits and cheese and crackers or something like that, and just have a really pretty little serving board for that purpose. So thank you all for stopping by. I hope that you enjoyed this little video, and look around and see what you can refurbish and give new life to in your house. I hope you're all safe and happy, or safe and healthy. We're all kind of pulling our hair out right now, but I do hope that you're all healthy. And again, I want to thank you for your comments, your likes, and your shares, and thank you so much, you subscribers. I'll see you all next time.